There's going to be a lot of cake in this presentation, and we do have some free cupcakes we're giving away at our booth. So a little plug there. Stop by, say hello, because you're going to get hit with a lot of cake here. But ultimately, glad to be here. Optimove is a customer-led marketing platform. So continuing on the theme, last couple presentations talked about a lot of good strategies for CRM. That's really what we're all about, is CRM and retention of your users that you've worked so hard to acquire and engage. So our customer-led marketing platform includes the ability to bring together a lot of that rich historical data and predictive models. Bahe was just talking about in the last piece that, you have these regression analysis and things that can be done on all your user data, and then the idea of sending it out to another platform to do the actual execution. The way to think about Optimove is we actually do both of those things in the same platform. So we start with a predictive customer data model at the core, bringing in both historical as well as real-time data. And then we use AI, machine learning, to actually set up campaigns and journeys on top of that user data that actually allow you throughout the entire journey to measure and understand campaigns that are actually working. And that's to be able to send things like, push and in-app messages, but also extending beyond that to channels like SMS, email, and even website interactions. So that's the way to think about Optimove in terms of omni-channel integration. So what we're talking about today, though, is how do you use that to win customer loyalty for life? And the way that we really think about it is that a lot of marketing starts with the idea around a product to promote, right? And in another sense, you could start with a channel. Like you might say, well, we want just an SMS campaign, right? We say no to that as well. And we think about how do you actually not even focus on the message, but start with the customer. And what that means, the way we think about that, is that the customer is giving you all of their preferences through their data, right? You're collecting information on what products they've purchased in the past or what products they're interested in. You're collecting data on what messaging can actually resonate. You're collecting data on what channels are actually the most effective for different segments of your user base. So use that, start with that. Problem is, a lot of the technologies that are out there are fragmented, right? Different systems for different parts of the equation. We'll see a little bit about that. So how do you bring that together and actually make it easier for the marketer to go from that insight around those different user segments to actually executing upon these campaigns and then measuring to make sure they work? So these are what we think of as some of the building blocks of obviously having that data, again, both historical as well as real time, being able to quickly and easily get those insights and then get the messages out there. So one way to think about it, if you marketing, a lot of times is done in kind of this assembly line approach, right? So Henry Ford in 1913 created the assembly line, which created a lot of efficiency. But nowadays, more than 100 years later, that's the process of a lot of marketing. And if you think about it, it happens across different departments and different tools, and it's actually pretty inefficient, right? So we see people every day, we talk to marketers who have to go to their IT team who SQL queries a database to actually bring back a segment that they might need, right? Not efficient, because then they have to take that data and analyze it. They got to wait for some of the insights potentially from a different team, craft the messages, and then actually get those messages out through the channels and do the measurement and execution. We see this all the time where it's a fragmented approach and it's not that efficient. So nowadays, not necessary. We actually provide the marketers at the click of a button with one application for doing, again, the data and insights, the measurement and optimization all in one. And so that's what we consider to be the customer-led marketing approach. And it's something where ultimately the results speak for themselves. If you can see that you're targeting a certain segment more effectively and actually measure the incrementality, which within Optimove, we do that right in platform to actually show the incremental lift that you're getting out of a particular campaign or journey. So a quick real world example on this, we do believe you can have your cake and eat it too. It might sound like, how do we get to this world of a system that brings together the data as well as the campaign execution in more of a cohesive fashion? So to give you a sense of how we do this, we help customers across also the acquisition part, but then the engagement and the actual retention. And what this looks like, this is a particular example from a FinServe customer we work with. It's actually a trading platform. So this is essentially the model we create at the core, which is a customer lifecycle model. And basically, every user is only going to fall into one of these buckets at a single time. And we can actually look at things like group migration and how they move between these different segments, so you can really understand the various life cycles. We can also customize this because obviously each of you represent, different brands, different apps that may have a different model. And so your customer life cycles might not be the same as, say, like an e-commerce retailer. And so these can all be customized so that the life cycles make sense for your type of users. And then ultimately, this is where the fun stuff comes in. We get in the data science and apply the predictive. And so that's where within the system, we can automatically take a look and see who is most likely, as an example, to become a VIP user within the next 3 months. And so we help this trading platform identify that. And as you can see, for them, while the VIPs are a smaller subset of their total user base, the amount of value they get out of their VIP traders is significantly higher than any other group. So how can they actually engage those people even before they become a VIP, right? And using the predictive, you can start to see what segment of the user base will actually be most likely to become their best traders in this particular case. So with that then, again, comes the campaign and journey part, and how different type of offers, different types of campaigns or options can be offered to their users based on exactly what type they are. And so that's basically the way to think about it, is how do you actually customize it, personalize it? I think about the type offers I get. I mean, to use an example, like JetBlue, they offer me rental cars in the city where I live, right? And I think about, like, they have all my data, right? I'm in their like loyalty program, right? Have the JetBlue credit card and all of that. They have all my user data, yet for some reason, they still send me a mismatched offer, like a rental car in the city that I live versus a rental car in the city where I'm traveling to. So you kind of wonder, like, how can you better match, again, that right message or offer with the right person? So in this case, we were able to help them better target their VIP users, as well as their the ones with the most likelihood to become VIP. So ultimately, again, the predictive model part of this, all this data and data science work that can happen does not need to live separately from the same system that actually sends out the campaigns, creates the journeys, essentially. So this is where, we feel like a one-stop shop for being able to bring that together. And nowadays, breaking down those silos between, the data science teams, the marketing teams, the messaging that goes out to the users, it can be done. And we see a lot of great results from that, including a lift in customer lifetime value, which is huge. And obviously the efficiency part, back to the assembly line approach, working out of multiple silos, working out of multiple systems for how you're messaging your users is not the most efficient. And so being able to capitalize upon all the data that's at your fingertips and move that right into the way campaigns and journeys work delivered terrific results. So hopefully that was a thought starter for you guys. Again, we'll be at the booth with cupcakes. Stop by if you have any questions afterwards. Happy to take them over there. And thanks again.